Hello, welcome. I'm Tom Sinclair, and this is Streaming Idiots. That's right. You have come to the, well, maybe you've come to the right place. I've got my lemonade here today, and big full jug of lemonade. So we got a lot of time. We've got a great guest today, William Warfield from PrepSpin. We're going to bring on in just a second. We were chatting up in the pre-show, as well as the pre-show, and you're going to just love this. If you like sports, you're just going to love this one. But we do have a little bit of news before we get to that point. There was an event that occurred last night. If you're in the U.S., yes, indeed, vMix released version 20 beta 2x, super mega beta 2x. It's supposed to have twice as much. The jury's a little out on that, and they haven't released all the features yet. They've still got features that they haven't released, but they have got the features that they have for version 20 pretty well polished. And of course, throwing it out there in the wild, you never know what's going to happen. But some of my favorite features of it, and let's see can I show you this? Yeah, I'm going to show you my, I use two PCs. One for all the production and then one for streaming and recording. And so what I've done is I'm sending this shot to the second PC. So the output of my main vMix becomes the input on the second one that gets streamed and recorded. And what I did is I took the output on the second one, which of course is the input. Actually I took the whole screen. Let me just show you. Heck, it's so hard to describe these things sometimes. This is the second PC, and you can see in the top right-hand corner the program output goes to infinity, and the preview shows the preview that we had going on just a second ago. But you notice in the middle there's that neat little clock thing that is now counting up, and it counts up to show what the what in this case what the record time is. So we've been recording for 2 minutes and 45 seconds. It also has the ability to take out the T-bar, so I have more space there, which I really like a lot. And there's some other things you can take out if you don't use, like the quick play button, and so there's just some options for that. You also have the ability to do multiple outputs. I mean like 6 different outputs if you've got the 4K or the Pro edition. And we'll be exploring some of those as we go along. But I'll tell you, getting all of this to work, I just downloaded it last night, and we're using it on both PCs today. I don't know if you can see clearly in the top left-hand corner, but it's vMix, it says 4K version 20.0.0.20. So this is the version that was released last night, and it's got all sorts of new toys with it. And it's going to be a lot of fun to explore. I haven't had much time to explore it yet, so that's all you get on vMix 20. Except you can go to vMix, the vMix forum, which is forums plural forums.vmix.com, and go to the general tab, and then go to the vMix 20 and download the beta and play with it yourself. It's going to be a lot of fun. And yes, you can install the beta if you've never installed vMix, which is cool, you can install the beta and have a free 60-day trial to play with the beta. It's not watermarked or crippled in any way. If you already have vMix, you can install the beta, play with it, and then install whatever version you were using previously, of version 19 or 18, 17, whatever. It doesn't impact your ability to upgrade vMix at a later date, or not, as the case may be. In fact, a little secret, sometimes the vMix guys forget to turn the clock on, and so if your vMix is more than a year old, you can sometimes update for free instead of having to pay the whopping $60 US upgrade fee. So you may as well try that. I mean, there's a little tip for you right there. What else? Oh, yeah. A piece, full disclosure, this entire show is a giant infomercial with the emphasis on info and not so much on mercial. But here's the mercial part of it. I represent vMix, and so I'm a vMix reseller, and I can sell you vMix. If you go to my website, easternshorebroadcasting.com, you can buy it right now. We also represent PTZ Optics for the PTZ cameras, and Magewell for the capture cards and the USB 3 dongles, and X keys, of course. Love my X keys right there. That's my XK80 that I'm trying out. Not sure if I need 80 keys, but I needed more than 24, which was the one that I was using before. And we also are representing WIDO, which is the wireless HDMI camera transmitter receiver device. We'll be getting some more information on that onto our website pretty soon. And there's one other line that we're thinking about representing too. So we'll let you know more about that when the time comes. How are we doing so far? vMix 20 looks pretty darn stable. I haven't seen any hiccups with it. It's got some cool features in there that are not even, they haven't even noted them on the vMix website yet. I mean, on the forum yet as to existing. So it's kind of like a giant game of hide and seek. I can't wait. The other thing I can't wait for, sound effect. Look what showed up in the mail for me. These are the official, this is now the official snack of Streaming Idiots. That's right, they are Dum Dum, sent by my good friend Ken Richard, and we are opening them here on the show. No, we're not opening them here on the show. They have 8 summer flavors. I've got a knife in my pocket, I think. No, I don't. I took it out because I don't want to be armed during the show. Doggone it. The Dumdums are going to go everywhere. There we go. Oh my goodness. Just look at all the Dumdums. I mean, it's just Dum Dum heaven. And supposedly in here is I got it first time out of the box. It's a lemonade Dum Dum. Is that not great? Oh my goodness. So, anybody that buys a copy of vMix or anything out of our store gets a free Dum Dum. Woo! That's an offer you can't refuse. And we have them here, and they will not be pre-licked, I promise. They'll come in regular. Oh my goodness. Is there just, it's like being a kid again. Just so much fun with all this stuff. The other thing about being a kid again is thinking back to the days when I started in live streaming, when I duct taped a webcam to a tripod and thought I had arrived. That was 8 years ago. But somebody that's done more than arriving is our next guest, and I'm going to bring in William Warfield from PrepSpin. William, are you? Hold on a second. Let me get your mic on. There we go. Are you with us? Did I get you on correctly? All right, very good.
I think so.
William's coming to us from Lexington, Kentucky over vMix Call, 1080p feed out of vMix. So, doggone, it looks like you're right in the next room. That's an amazingly good picture. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for coming.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
You have been on my radar. Just every time I turned around, I kept bumping into PrepSpin. PrepSpin was doing this with video and basketball, and doing this with wrestling or volleyball or football or track. And holy cow, man, you guys are getting it.
Yeah, it's been a crazy ride. I don't even know how I even got here, to be honest with you. It's started out as a hobby, and now we're here. So I'm on Streaming Idiots.
Yeah, that's right. You have arrived now. It doesn't get any better than this. This is the highlight of your career. Okay, but seriously now. When did live streaming get on your radar? When did you first bump into live streaming, that it even existed?
Yeah, well, I told the story a couple weeks ago when I was talking with the PTZ guys, PTZ Optics guys on their show. My boss at the time, I was in marketing, and he wanted me to figure out a way to get his, son's radio broadcast to him in California so that he could listen to the game while he was away. And this was totally before most of the radio stations even thought about streaming. And it was just something that I ended up figuring out. And thanks to Google and thanks to a thing called IceCast back then, we're talking around 2007, 2008, and permission from the radio station, private link to him, just figuring that out and saying, hey, man, this is something I can do. And that's truly where it started.
How long ago was that?
2007, 2008. I was already doing a blog, if you will. We had created a website to cover 2 local high schools in my county here in Kentucky. And the blog was growing. People wanted to have the coverage. Actually, some of the very first broadcasts that I did was uploading them, not streaming them, but actually uploading them to be played later. And I did that through this thing. Can you see that?
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, so we had several broadcasts that were basically talking into this digital recorder. I would upload them after the game. People would go back and listen and said, hey, man, you're pretty good. And we had a radio station give us a call during one of our regional tournaments. And he said, if East and West Jasmine, which is the county schools that, they're here in our county, if they do good in the tournament, would you guys like to do all their games? Well, West Jasmine ended up winning the whole thing, so we had several games that we did, and just the feedback, it kind of got me pumped, and the rest is history.
Oh man, that's so great. And you knew that there was something there.
Yeah, that definitely was something that I wanted to do. Well, I found out from this guy at the radio station. They had offered us to broadcast those games. Again, he heard me on one of these and offered me the opportunity to do that. Well, he was streaming. He was one of the very few radio stations that were streaming at the time, and he was using a service called Easy Stream. And a guy named Craig Blanchard up in Maine runs it and does good work with that, the basic streaming stuff. But I talked with Craig, and we ended up basically leasing a web server so that we were able to stream through his service. And this was around the time when the 3G cards were out, so you could do the tethering through your phone if you knew how to do it. And again, it's something that we figured out. We were able to take a little Acer laptop to some of these games and basically use the tethering and connect to the cell phone tower and send our signal out. So we ended up being able to do it live instead of having to use the recorded version of it. And it was just it was something that I took a leap out on and just continue to get better at. And man, just the feedback really is what motivated me to take it to the next level.
Well, that's cool. So tell me what you guys are doing today.
Well, today we're doing some of America's biggest sporting events. Anywhere from in high school sports here in Kentucky is huge, but from that start and getting into the video, which was a little bit later on, we've been able to continue to get better and better at the video quality, and it's landed us some college jobs. Now we're doing some Division I college stuff for major colleges. We've done pro stuff. I've got a big agreement with the Kansas City Royals minor league baseball team, the Lexington Legends, and we do all their home games, and it's amazing, man. How did I get here?
So you guys are doing baseball and football.
Yes.
And of course you're in Kentucky, so you have to do basketball. And
basketball is king around here. Yes,
oh yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, some of the bigger college basketball events that we do are, in Las Vegas or South Florida, where they have a showcase every November. Matter of fact, I just met with those guys again yesterday, just trying to plan, game plan this whole thing out. But we've got 3 major college showcases in November that's coming up that we're going to be broadcasting on behalf of this agency that we work with, and we're talking about big time college teams.
Outstanding. Yeah, you may have seen my buddy R.J. Murdoch over in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. Every kind of around Christmas time, he does the Emerald Coast Classic, which is a college basketball tournament, and he does all the preliminary games, and then CBS comes in and does the final. And it's been a lot of fun for him to have that affiliation, to be able to say, yeah, I'm doing the same tournament that CBS is doing. I'm sure if that hasn't come for you guys, it's right around the corner.
Oh yeah, we actually, some of the major networks, when we do some of this, college stuff, even the Legend stuff, a local TV station will come in and, we'll basically go over IP to their station, and they broadcast it live through the IP feed. But when we're in Vegas or when we're in South Florida, they'll have one of those big TV trucks come up, and thankfully, us using the great vMix software now that we're using, we're able to, not only did we have that custom machine where we got the video outputs, but it allows us to plug into those big trucks and makes it really easy for us.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It is, and I just wanted to say this too, Tom. I've been following you ever since you were the Vid Blaster guy.
Oh my God.
So I've been paying attention to your show a long time. I know you said that you kind of saw me on the radar a little bit there, but you've been on my radar for a long time, doing the things that you've done, and I've picked up a lot of goodies from your show. So I tune in every chance that I get.
Good. Well, now you can get Dumdums as well.
That's awesome.
So tell me, what are some of the some of the challenges that you've bumped into that make interesting stories?
I'll be honest with you. The encoders and things like that we've used in the past that we've, tried. I've got their paperweights now. These big $10,000 encoders that we've got that, as time goes on, they just get outdated, and that's really what's so special about the vMix is you can build your own system, and if something gets outdated, well, you can just upgrade that specific part. Right. So, we've got a couple TriCasters that are outdated that can't do what some of these computers can now, and got a couple of the you remember the old Niagara 4100 encoders that they had out from Viewcast, that were out on the market back in the day. They just get older in time, and the beautiful thing again about the vMix is I can build my own PC or I can order it from you, and if something gets old on it, video graphics card need to be upgraded or whatever, I'm able to do that quickly and easy. And plus they keep vMix updated all the time, which is pretty awesome for us. I'm excited about that 2X that was launched yesterday, by the way, that beta release.
It's fun, and it's like a treasure hunt. There's a new feature hidden here and a new feature hidden there. Oh yeah, and we haven't even seen it all. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's been a game changer for us. Again, we're jumping ship from, we've used Vid Blaster in the past. We've used Wirecast. We've used the TriCaster, and again, just the vMix is just so much better. If I had to go back, and I wish I saved all that money that I spent on that other stuff, but man, vMix has been such a game changer for us in the sports. Wirecast would be perfect for somebody doing a live show, a talk show or something like that. But for sports, you've got to have vMix.
Well, I would think vMix does pretty good for a talk show too.
Yeah, absolutely. I was on Facebook the other day, and there's some people that are really for Wirecast, and so I just thought I would drop that in there, but vMix is amazing for sports. Just so many features. The replay, for example, if it comes with that pro license that you get, that you get the multiple camera replay, which is amazing in itself. Why not just go ahead and spend that $1,200, get the pro license, build your own PC instead of having to go out and buy $30,000 worth of equipment that's going to be a paperweight like some of the other things we have that we've used in the past. So
I agree.
It's just a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. But it's the old saying. At least it's an old saying for me back in the day. nobody ever got fired for buying IBM. And the same thing is kind of true-ish today. Nobody ever got fired for buying New Tech because it was a safe decision. You know, it's a company that had been around, has some history. You know, ESPN uses them, all that kind of stuff. But for folks that have a limited budget and have a willingness to explore, vMix makes great sense because you can get into live streaming for literally pennies on the dollar, whether it's for sports or talk show or streaming for your church or doing community events. It's I think now that I need to do a show on this is to do a budget show and go out and find what's the cheapest thing I can buy to do everything I want to do with vMix and stream a show. I bet I could do it for less than $250, including the PC, the camera, the microphone, the whole 9 yards. Yep. Now, obviously, you're not doing things on that level. You're not buying your stuff off of eBay. How many events do you think you'll do this year?
On average, we do between 250 and 300. I mean, it's every day for us. We're out last night. I just did a preseason soccer game, so we're already into that new season for fall sports. And before we know it, the bigger events will be here. Basketball season is huge in Kentucky, like you had mentioned, and that when that happens, that's 50 games the first week.
Right.
So,
right.
I mean, it's busy around here.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Now, how's the revenue part work for you? And don't share what any of the secret sauce, but are you paid by advertisers, or is it pay-per-view, or are the venues paying you to come stream? How are you working that out?
So on the high school stuff that we do, we really don't make a ton of money off of that. Actually, we really don't make hardly any money off the high school stuff that we do. What I do get paid for is when somebody hires me to go out and do the production for an event. So those big-time colleges that call us, the Lexington Legends, for example, we got the state association, the KHSA here in Kentucky that hires us to do all their state championship events. That's really where my business makes its money from. We do got some advertising that we work with on the with the schools for the high school stuff, but it doesn't add up to a whole bunch. It's the production that really pays us. Boy,
I would think, if I were, I'd have to think of a business that has a kind of a national reach. But let's say, for example, if I were State Farm, because I know State Farm is really into college sports. If I were State Farm, I would approach you and I'd say, William, we want to sponsor all 300 broadcasts you do this year. We want to be XYZ sponsored by State Farm, and I want to give you $100,000. Would you take that?
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't turn that down at all. We do have, we got for our high school stuff, again, working with local schools, we do got title sponsors and, element sponsors inside the game that we do sell.
Specific to that event. Yeah.
Specific to that event. It could be specific to that school that we're working with. So, I mean, there is a small revenue model there, but again, it's profit sharing with the school and doing the right thing with it, not walking off to the bank and keeping it all for ourselves. Sure.
No, I understand. But you guys have got, basically an advertiser wants to know eyeballs and then location. And if you've got 2 million eyeballs a year, divide that in half and say 1 million viewers, there are advertisers out there that would love to be a part of that process, especially since the demographic is going to be people that follow sports. People that follow sports, they buy hot dogs, they buy sporting equipment, they buy tires. I would think you are just perched on the edge of a major across-the-board contract with somebody. In fact, somebody watching this show is going to be calling you and saying, William, we want to buy your eyeballs.
Yeah. Well, let's hope so. We'll keep our fingers crossed. The beautiful thing about us covering all these high school games that we do, I mentioned, it's really not about the money in that. It's more or less, trying to get the kids noticed and get them some exposure. So hopefully a college coach is watching them,
Right.
and we're able to get them. That's really our mission, and how we started this whole thing was, again, I started it with 2 schools here just as a hobby, because the only thing that they had in town, was the local paper. We didn't have a radio station or anything like that. So it's about giving back to community and celebrating those kids that are trying to make it to the next level. Again, the reason why we work with the Lexington Legends, the minor leaguers, they're trying to make it to the next level. So if we can put highlight clips out there, get them some of that notoriety out there, that also helps at that level too, and again at the college level as well. So, everything that we do is based off of our mission.
Gotcha. Have you got some clips?
I do. Yeah, absolutely.
Show us some stuff.
Yeah, let's do that. Here's some of our recent highlights here.
Beautiful video.
Yeah, so we used to, broadcast everything in 720, but now where we've built a better computer system, we're able to do it in 1080p 60. So people are actually getting the real deal there, and it makes a big difference.
Awesome. Oh, there's my sport right there. Love soccer.
We love soccer. Actually, we're the only ones in the
Beautiful.
state that really cover soccer the way that we do. A lot of times you'll see, soccer show up during the playoffs on the news or something like that. But we're talking about, regular season through the playoffs. PrepSpin covers soccer better than anybody.
Yeah.
This is a minor league baseball game there.
Soccer has got to be the most difficult sport to broadcast. Football, you've got a break. Basketball, at least you have timeouts.
Yeah.
But soccer is just nonstop action.
It's nonstop, and usually when I do a soccer game, it's just a one camera type of broadcast. I'll sit there and do the production and do the camera and kind of do everything by myself when I go to do the soccer games. And it all works out.
Nice camera. This is your camera work right here? Oh my goodness, that was a party.
Yeah, the lacrosse game that you saw there was our
Yeah.
camera. This is a PTZ camera right here in center field that had that center field shot there, and that's actually Tim Tebow there that just made the diving catch. That was a Sports Center top 10.
Good job. So Sports Center gave you the $1 million on that one too, huh?
Oh no, we submit them to, so when a big time play happens, and this is the really cool part about the vMix replay, is so we clip it out, we export it real quick, and then we upload it to YouTube. And there's also another way, if we're doing the broadcast on YouTube, they got that little highlight clip in the admin panel that we use as well. But we're able to basically tag Sports Center, and they pick up. This is another top 10 right here, by the way. But we're able to tag them as soon as the play happens, and they pick it up, and sometimes we land on their show.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. This is exciting stuff. I am loving this. What kind of camera are you using here?
I'll show it to you. Matter of fact, I got it. This is the JVC in front of there a little bit better. But this is the JVC 620 that I primarily use, and then we got the Blackmagic monitor on the top. And this thing, it's pretty amazing for sports. It's really good in low light. I haven't had any issues from these cameras. I actually used to use the Sony cameras, the FX7s, and we switched to these because of the SDI output on the back. And I really love this camera. I mean, I wish I had more of them.
So do you think you'll go to 4K at some point?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think with the new, the new i9 processors that just came out, I think you can get them now. They were on back order there for a while, but I think it's right around the corner for us. As a matter of fact, the computer that I've got behind me has got the 1080 graphics card in it from EVGA, and as soon as we're able to get our hands on one of those i9s, I think we're going to play around with this one here and put one of those in there and see how we can make that happen.
Awesome, exciting. Well, Rick, William, we have used up all of our time. I am so sorry. Would you hang around for a few minutes in the post show and answer some questions in chat?
Absolutely.
I can see some
Yes,
questions piling up there. Great. All right. Well, thank you so much. All right. So, guys, what about William? Awesome story, wasn't it? So if you're watching us live, by all means, hang around. And if you're watching us on, on Facebook or Twitter or Periscope or YouTube directly, come on over to easternshorebroadcasting.com. Now's a great time to get in on the chat so you can ask questions of William. And they're sharing all sorts of information in there, mostly about Dumdums, but they're talking about other things too. Coming up next week, somebody you may not have heard of, Kurt Middlebrooks with Streaming Star Pros in St. Petersburg, Florida, will be our special guest to talk about his live streaming business down there in St. Pete. St. Pete is an area that I visit quite frequently because I've got family down there, and bumped into Kurt, and he and I go pretty far back. I don't know if we go back to the VidBlaster days or not, but certainly to the early days of vMix. And have been following him, and he's doing some interesting things that I think will interest you. And then coming up the week after that, Larry Megan with Night Owl TV will come on, and Larry has got some interesting ways that he distributes his broadcasts that I think you'll be interested in it as well. So that's next week, Kurt Middlebrooks with Streaming Star Pros, and then the week after that, Larry Megan with Night Owl TV. Don't forget, if you're interested in vMix, PTZ Optics cameras, Major capture cards, X keys, or golly, anything else that you think I can help with. Oh, you know what? I forgot. We have our own line of live streaming PCs. We call it live streaming gear. So if you're interested in something either stock off the shelf, you can go to the website and see what we keep in stock. Or if you'd like to have something custom built for you for a particular project. For example, one of my clients came to me just last week and said, Tom, I've got a space that's like this big. And we've got to put a computer in there that does all this stuff. Can you design something to fit into that space? And sure enough, we did it. So if we can help you with a custom design or anything off the shelf, shoot an email, Tom at easternshorebroadcasting.com. I'm thinking of stepbacintime.tv, Giles channel. And a big shout out to all the guys with the World of Live Streaming, and what a great job they did last week on Streamfest Live. If you missed it, you can get that online. It's like 11 and a half hours of broadcast, but it's been broken up in little choppy parts. So you can go to just the sections you want. And I think their YouTube channel is Step Back in Time TV. So go check that out. That'll be a lot of fun. And then what's the other thing? Oh yeah, get a Dum Dum. Buy something and get a Dum Dum. How about that? Thanks so much for showing up. If you watched this long on YouTube, you may as well subscribe. You're hooked. I'm hooked. We'll see you next week. Thanks for coming in.